Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today on Everything AeroPilates. Right now I did kind of a crazy thing and I bought an AeroPilates off of Facebook Marketplace, and I had mentioned to you guys that sometimes you can find one on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. And I was going to advise you like what condition you should probably look to get it in. And then I thought, you know what, if it's inexpensive enough, a lot of these parts are replaceable, and so you don't have to be afraid of a machine that looks like this. Now this machine, I actually did wipe off. I forgot I was gonna leave it as dirty as it really was. You'll be able to see on the rebounder and the tow bar how dirty it was. The lady that I bought it from was the second owner, and the previous owner had cats, and so they had scratched up this whole carriage, and then the owner that I purchased it from left it outside. So it is kind of just a dirty mess. The good thing is that this is a steel machine. Everything can be cleaned, and then parts can be replaced. Even parts that you don't realize can be replaced. That's what this video is about. Getting a close-up of this machine, you can see all those cat marks. You can see some different stains. And there's like a cup stain right there, like a circle. Do you see that ring? And this is after I've actually scrubbed it. Like I said, I was gonna leave it. I only scrubbed the carriage, and then you can see the stains down here. And the headrest just has a tiny bit of a scratch. Not too bad. You can look at those handles. Look, pretty disgusting. And it's just dirty. So let's check out the back. Okay, here are the cords from this used machine. You can see that every single one of them is extremely loose. Okay, those could probably be tightened, but I'd have to check them and see the quality that's left in them. You see a little of the dirt on the end there. And one thing I look for when I'm picking one up is the wheels. And the wheels actually look like they're in pretty good shape, despite the obvious neglect of this machine. And I know that some people, like the lady who had this, she had a small house and she decided to have a Bowflex inside her house, so then she would not have room for this as well. So that's why this was outside, and then she eventually ended up selling it for the Bowflex, which, if you ask me, is crazy. But here's the machine. I'm gonna roll it out and we're gonna clean it up, and I'll show you your options for if you choose to buy a used machine like this. So this looks like a pretty good mess. The cords are so loose that I can't even roll the carriage down because they're getting stuck in here. So I'm going to pull them up. Maybe we get past a certain part. And there we go. Rolling it down. And we're going to give it a clean up with, I'm just going to use a wet washcloth with some soap. And I'm going to clean everything down. And once it's clean, it's going to make a huge difference. And then we can decide what we need to replace on the machine. All right, I have my wet soapy washcloth, and I'm going to start wiping it down. And I'm going to do this a couple times before I actually put this machine to use. Okay guys, so that is definitely looking much cleaner on all the metal pieces. I can probably use a magic eraser on this bed and get some of the dirt off of here quite a bit better because it's just not coming off. It's not coming off very well with scrubbing. So a magic eraser would probably do a really good job for that. But I'm actually going to change this carriage. I'm going to show you guys how. And the price was really inexpensive to get a new pad for this part right here, so that's amazing. So the one thing you're going to look for if you are buying an AeroPilates used, and it looks really junky, and it's kind of interesting that there was nothing done to make this look nice for the picture. It was just outside, it was filthy, and so I knew it was going to be a project, but there are a couple things that you just need to know that it has. It needs to have your pulley risers, your pulley riser hooks, and your straps, and it needs to be able to roll back and forth nicely across the rails. If you, unless it's super cheap, if it's not rolling well across the rails, and in this case, these cords are so loose they're getting stuck, but if the wheels, you see how it's still moving smoothly? The drag is the cords, but it's going back and forth across the rails. If you had a really bumpy ride going back and forth, you probably would have a problem with your wheels, and that starts to get expensive. The wheels replacement is going to cost at least $30 with some tax and shipping added. So that starts to add up, and then it also depends on like how much you paid for this machine. So for this particular machine, I paid $50, and this is a 4-cord machine. It has the 4 colored cords, but depending on if I had to replace them or not, I can use whatever I can find online, and right now black cords are really hard to find. So if I needed to, I could do just 2 red cords on this right now and wait for black cords, or whatever you would need to do. But for the $50 that this cost, it's worth spending some time and money to get this a little fixed up to where I like it. So that was my number 1 wipe down. I'm definitely going to wipe it down again, and I'm going to talk to you what you can do with these straps. The first thing I'm going to do is untie them. And they have hooks under here, and you have to kind of push to loosen the rope, and then you're just going to take the knot out. And the thing is, I can put these in a laundry bag. I could wash these straps and handles, and probably like 2 times at least, and I can have clean straps at that point. The handles are still, you know, like super gross. I mean, there's like spider webs. There's probably spider eggs on there. I mean, that is like really gross. So I'm gonna take those off and maybe wash those outside of the bag. But I want the straps in the bag just so they don't get twisted around my other clothing and maybe get pulled and start to get pulls in the rope. But if that did happen, you can buy new straps and you can buy new handles. It really just depends. As long as your frame is good, and this is exactly what I did for this machine. I said I bought one used online, and I need to replace this cushion. And this was item number 14, so I gave my AeroPilates, I gave the model number, I gave the serial number, which are underneath here on the sticker, and they sent me out a new cushion. And I'm going to show you how to install that, but that was amazing. It was super quick. The cushion for this particular model at the time that I'm filming this was $20, guys, to replace this cushion. So $50 for the whole machine, $20 for the cushion. I'm going to give it a really good clean. I'm going to wash the straps in the washer, and might have to replace some cords. And for really, so just around $100 total, I'm going to have a good AeroPilates machine that can be usable. And what I plan to do with this machine is sometimes I go to my friends' houses and I just want them to get stretched out on this machine. The point of this machine was to be my travel machine. But if this is all I could find for myself, and if I didn't already have a machine, or even if I just, wanted to try it for a while and see if I liked it before I upgraded to a 5-quarter, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even need to do that. If you find a machine like this, inexpensive, near your house, you can grab it, call the customer service hotline, order whatever pieces you need replaced, and have a wonderful, inexpensive machine. If I needed to replace these straps, like if they were torn up or ripped, they're not. They're actually just really filthy. But if I needed to replace them, I absolutely could. I could call and get the replacement. Now, AeroPilates does sell a comfort kit, and that has the head pillow, and this comes with a head pillow. It's really filthy, but it's nice that they had it, because, I mean, this can be cleaned up too. It's going to need more than just a quick wipe, but this can be cleaned up too. The rebounder, you want to make sure you have a rebounder with your machine. You want to make sure you have the tow bar. Even if the tow bar padding is ripped, and this one has like a little scratch. It's actually surprisingly good condition for the treatment that it's had. But I could replace this cushion as well. So the whatever it is, as long as it fits how it's supposed to, as long as you have your pulley riser, your rebounder, and your tow bar, you're really going to be able to get your machine working. And once you have the necessary replacement parts, you're not even going to care that it was used once. It's just going to become your AeroPilates machine, and you're going to feel like a genius because you got it at an amazing price. Now, the shoulder pads were one of the kind of bummers about this machine. They are, you know, torn up. They have gashes out of them. They're really dirty. But this actually comes off. And as long as this metal piece right here is fine, you can just buy the cushion again, which I did, and I'll show you how to install it. You're really just gonna slide the new cushion back on. So even something like that that's such a bummer that you have like this ruined shoulder pad is a very quick and easy fix. At this time, this size shoulder pad is $4 plus tax plus shipping. So for 2 of them was $8. Then I had to pay tax and shipping on top of that. But it really saved a lot of money than buying a brand new machine. And what I like about having a used machine is you're actually reusing, so you're not wasting. But not only that, these machines are extremely hard to find right now. And when you do find them, there's a lot of price gouging. Sometimes they come back in stock and they're gone within an hour. They might have 20 to 30 in stock and then they're gone. So this is a great alternative. You just have to wrap your head around it being a used machine. Everything can be cleaned. Anything you want to replace can be replaced. The only thing they were out of stock on this particular model was this headrest. And this headrest has like 2 cat scratches, 2 little cat nicks. It's not a huge deal. I would love to replace it, but so sometimes you are gonna find a part that's not replaceable. And I've heard that about the headrest. So maybe if the headrest is really messed up, maybe tread more cautiously, but you can even wrap this for the time until they get that part in, and they do plan on getting these parts back in. So that's good to know. I want to show you how to take off the cushion so that you can put the new cushion on. Make sure the straps are undone and you're going to roll up your machine. And all I'm going to do is take off the carriage like normal. Again, taking off the carriage is always easier for taller people, maybe slightly stronger people. I have the carriage down here. I'm going to perform some of the maintenance that I talked about in my maintenance video, and I'm going to just clean up the wheels and I'm going to check them for hair. It's really bizarre. There's not hair in these wheels. You would think with how dirty the machine was, it would be pretty bad, but they're dirty. They're definitely dirty wheels. They're cleaned up pretty nicely. Okay, so the wheels are dirty, but they do not have hair in them, so I'm not even going to take them off. They were rolling really well on the glider like you saw earlier, and I will oil the rails when I get that cleaned up one more time. But let's go ahead and take off this pad. And to take off this pad, this is the only thing that you cannot use a normal AeroPilates tool with. But if you're going to use one, you won't even have that tool. You need a wrench or a ratchet set. To this off, I'm going to look at these straps. This one actually looks in good condition. The stretch is okay. So to be perfectly honest with any of these, if I was just buying this used, because I'm on a tight budget, I know things are hard for people right now, but I know that I need to not just exercise, really to balance out my body and just be even and help with pain. You know, maybe you've seen the Marjolaine videos online and you're inspired. You know, this would be a great piece of exercise equipment to have in your home. So at this point, if that's the case, I would tighten these straps, and I'm going to do that right now. So I had a viewer mention that you can use a wrench clamp on the end here, and that can hold your cord for you while you tighten. And so I did borrow a wrench clamp and try that, and it worked actually really well. The only thing that you may not like about it is that it will fray your cords a little, but it is certainly going to be much easier than doing this shenanigans. I have a video that goes in very detail on how to tighten these straps. I do it by myself without any help. The easiest way is I sometimes have my sons come in here and just hold the strap down while I tighten it. That has been my all-time easiest way. Like I said, the viewer had a really great idea, and she said some clamp pliers, or any kind of clamp that you might have, and I don't know, you know, what different clamps are on there. I borrowed the pliers that clamp, I think they're called, I don't remember what they're called, but those pliers that lock into place, not just a regular wrench or regular pliers won't work, but they have to lock into place, and you hook it right here underneath the back side of the cord, and then you can tie over here. And so that was actually really easy, but still the easiest is having my sons come in and help hold the cords for me. They love doing that too, you know. We wouldn't want to rob them of that. Now that that viewer mentioned that to me, I would try to find something to clamp. I tried a kitchen chip bag clip, and it didn't work very well. But there might be something you have in your home. You just want to be careful because you're working with a rubber band here, and you don't want to harm yourself. So just keep that in mind. I'll probably try to grab those again sometime and show you guys that in a video because it was just a really smart idea by a viewer. So thank you for that tip. Those cords are tightened and you can see they're kind of long down here now. And that actually happens sometimes even in a new machine. You'll see a lot of cord down here. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to change this pad out. So you're going to need, like I said, a ratchet set or what is this called? This is a socket set. You have the size 5/16 that's going to work for this part. And I'm just putting it on my tool. So on the carriage, you'll see these little screws here. And they're actually like, this is like a curved top end nut. I don't know what it's called. And then there's a nut underneath it. And that's what I'm unscrewing right now. So when that's unscrewed, I'll be able to pop off this padding. So I'm going to work on that right now. I'm just lefty-loosey. Those came off very easily. You're going to have the curved top. And that's just so you don't have a sharp, pokey screw underneath your carriage. And then you have the nut. And you have a large washer. So you have the first curvy nut, the actual nut, and then the washer. And you're gonna do that 4 times. You'll see now you have an exposed screw. When they send you the new padding, they will have it already with that screw in there. This is actually a really easy process, and I don't want you to be intimidated by it. If you want to change the pad or the cushion on your machine, there's 4 parts to unscrew, and I know you can do it. Now I'm going to show you the next part. I'm going to put this on its side. You won't necessarily have to do that, but now you just kind of pry off this cushioning. You can kind of push through on the screws here. If you had a hammer or maybe the back of your screwdriver will work just fine. Aha! And a little bit of force. There you go. That dirty, scratched up, filthy baby is off. I'm going to set that aside. And you can see the wood is actually still in really good condition there, guys. So this is what it looks like. This is the empty board. Here's what I took off, and you can see that it's a little dirty, but it's actually, a piece of wood is in really good condition. And here is my beautiful new piece that I got from StaminaProducts.com. You can see that it already has the screws in there. And now I'm just gonna pop that back on to the carriage and screw on those nuts. Now I'm gonna line up these screws into the holes that it came out of. So that was a little more difficult than I anticipated, and all it was is because the screws were like a little bowed from shipping. So I just had to push so that it would kind of angle it back in and the other one could fit in. A little bit of a pain, but I mean, look how beautiful this brand new bed is on here now. And now we're just gonna screw it back in. So here's my washer, one of the nuts. You can really finger tighten it quite a ways. You want it to be tight because you want that pad to go very close onto the platform so that nothing's going to be getting under it. You don't want a lot of debris or, you know, really anything, hair or whatever, to be able to get stuck in there. So I'm screwing it down pretty tightly. And I did the nut first, and now here's that little cap, that round cap thing. And I'm going to try to keep, this is the only tricky part, I'm going to try to keep the socket a little higher so that it doesn't keep grabbing the nut, and it can only focus on this top part. So it's a little tricky, you kind of have to hold it up a little while you're doing this screen part. And it will eventually meet the nut, and then you're ready to be done. So the only reason I don't want to try to grab that bottom nut again is I've already tightened it, and I don't want to tighten it so far that it's going to cause a problem. At this point, I have $50 that I purchased this machine for. I got the new cushion for $20 with about $8 shipping, so let's say $30 to round up with tax. And that is $80 in this machine so far, but then what it is actually costing is time. $80 into a 4 color cord machine. The cords could definitely be replaced sometime relatively soon. I think being out in the weather has affected them, but I'm just going to tie them tighter until I'm ready to spend that money. And the cushion, like I said, was $20 with shipping was about $8. and which is actually really reasonable shipping for such a big item. And it's just costing me time. It's costing me the time to clean it. It's costing me the time to put in the effort to replace these parts. And I'm on my last one. So here comes the washer, the first nut. My last top of the nut, the little curved cap. Okay guys, so all 4 of those are tightened and back on. And now I'm going to stand this up. Let's have a look at it. Here is our new carriage. And then I have this great machine again. Now, if you guys are familiar with this machine, this is a 360. It is called the Willow Green. It was on QVC called the Willow Green. It was sold with the 359, the Wisteria series. So they call it Willow Green and Wisteria, but this is really, I think one of the hosts called it a buttercream. It's really kind of like, it has like a metallic sheen to it. It's really pretty. It's definitely a yellow, and it has that metallic sheen to it. It's very pretty. Especially now in this new cushion that was purchased, I mean, it's looking much closer to brand new. The cushions for this model that were sent to me, and again, these were at this time $4 each with shipping, and they did a combined shipping for the package, which was really great, and they just slide right on. Now, I want to show you this pad, the old one. I don't know if they sent me just like an upgraded pad. Maybe that was a fluke. Maybe it's just what they have in stock because I know they're out of a lot of things. But it's quite a bit more cushiony and more luxurious than this like tiny one. So this is even going to be a more comfortable pad. Right now I'm oiling the rails, so if you haven't seen my AeroPilates maintenance video, I just have a little oil dabbed in the corner here, and I'm oiling the rails. And that's going to help the roll be just much smoother. It's something I like to do for my machines. And since these are cleaned, I thought it'd be a great time to oil them. Again, when you have something outside, you just know there's going to be possible cobwebs, spider webs, possible spiders in your machine, and you just clean them out. Just keep cleaning. It can be a while of cleaning, but again, for the price of this machine, a new cushion, new shoulder pads, the wheels were still in great condition, the tow bar is still in really good condition. I'm gonna have to bathe in the bathtub, the rebounder, and dry it off, but this is a really great price for this machine. And the color is actually really unique. The Willow Green is what they called it on QVC, but it's really like a yellow, creamy, kind of like a buttercream, I think is what would explain it well. And it has a little bit of a shimmery metallic in it. So I got this really rare, hard to find model that's super bright and cheerful. It's a little more neutral than some of the other models that I've had. Definitely more neutral than my blue that I love so much. But I just really like it. It's a cheerful color. And I'm going to go ahead and put the carriage back on. It's time for that. Everything's cleaned on the carriage. The rails were cleaned again. When you get a used machine home, you clean them as much as you want for you personally to be comfortable with that machine. So keep cleaning until you are comfortable. So the head, I have to make sure when I'm putting back a carriage on, the head is going to go down towards the pulley risers. Whoops. Alright. Hey you guys, so I still have the straps that I'm going to toss in the wash, and I still have the rebounder to clean, but the tow bar's clean. There you have it, a perfectly functioning AeroPilates. Once I get the straps washed, I'll hook those back up. Once I get the rebounder bathed, I'll have it for this. And it's basically, with these new parts, it makes it look like a beautiful machine. It looks like you will never know once you clean it up and get a couple of your replacement parts on that it was a machine that was second, I'm the third owner now, that was left for cats to claw and that was left outside for spiders to make nests in. You would never know it now, and now you just have a beautiful, very inexpensive comparatively machine. If I wanted to buy a 4-cord right now, color cord, right now, I would pay $420 plus tax, and I think it's like $470 when you get out the door. And this was, as is right now, under $100. I probably should replace the cords sometime soon. The cords could be around $70 for all 4 cords. So I could replace one or two as needed. It looks like the red one's still in pretty good condition. The yellow one is loose anyway, so I could keep that one and just tighten it as much as possible. I don't use the yellow one a whole lot alone. And so the two black cords would really need to be replaced. So really, for under $150, I could have like an almost brand new machine. There's some other things that could have needed replaced. This pad could be replaced, and I believe that's about $5. And so that starts adding to the cost. Maybe the end caps would need to be replaced. You're still going to be well under the $400 mark for this machine. Plus, you reused, you recycled. My advice, if you are looking for an AeroPilates or trying to save for one and they're just out of your reach in price range, check your local market. Don't be afraid of a cobweb, dirty machine. As long as you can tell that it rolls back and forth at first, but this machine is now going to be usable. This is going to be usable as is right now. Consider it. Consider buying used. Consider fixing it up if that's your better budget, and you could slowly replace the parts as well. Like if I didn't want to do the shoulder pads right away, if I could clean the cushion really well, whatever it is, you can slowly replace the items and you will still be well under a brand new machine. Now for this machine, it did not come with DVDs, so I could stream the on-demand on StaminaProducts.com. They have an on-demand section. They have a lot of AeroPilates workouts. The professionally produced workouts are obviously a little more than the Shauna Smith Yates workouts, which are just like a camera, like if I was doing a workout right now. So those are going to be cheaper. But they're a great resource. There's a lot of variety and you will love it. So you don't even need DVDs. The more your machine comes with, the better. You definitely don't want to buy a used one without a tow bar or without a rebounder. At that point, your prices are going to be getting maybe a little too high to even make it worth it. So consider all those options first. Anyway, so don't be afraid to buy a used AeroPilates machine with a little extra replacement parts and quite a bit of time. You will have a machine that is wonderful and in really good condition. Okay guys, let me know if you have any questions about anything here, and thank you for watching. I will see you next time on Everything AeroPilates. Bye.